Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to draw and create digital pictures using Microsoft Word. The creation of pictures or graphics is often necessary for the making of advertisements, school or work presentations or projects. As a college student, the ability to create digital artwork using the readily available program of Microsoft Word is invaluable. Also, making sure that one's work is original will become increasingly important as one progresses into the beginning of their own career. But for now, I'm going to teach you how to create a simple graphic of a basketball using the tools that Microsoft Word provides. At the end of this tutorial, you should have a new knowledge of the truly extensive capabilities of this program. The first step is going to be choosing a shape to start with. As you can see, there are several types of shapes to choose from, including a text box and a free line drawer. When you create a unique and complex design, you have to use some creativity. As a general rule, you should always choose to use ready-made shapes instead of lines because ready-made shapes are easier to manipulate. But sometimes you have to start by using a line drawer. There are three types of lines you can draw with. The first lets you draw regular lines. Though this one is versatile, it is also difficult to make smooth lines with. Note that you can make shapes by making one end of a line meet the other. Another line you could use is the rounded line maker. This line is generally preferable to the regular line maker for the reason that it helps you to make cleaner, more professional looking lines. You can click where you want the line to stay and then double click when you are finished. Lastly, if you want to make an angular shape, you can use the angled line maker. Simply click at the points where you want to leave a corner, and then double-click when you are finished. There is also a text box and callouts which you can add text to, but for our basketball, we are going to start with this circle. Once you have your shape, you can resize it or rotate it by right-clicking on the shape, choosing Format Object on the bottom, then going to the middle selection on the pane that opens up. There is a section on the bottom that is titled 3D Rotation. We have not added dimension to this shape yet, but we will return here later to see what these do. You can also click on the shape and under Format, click on the Effects and then 3D Rotation. Also, notice that you can resize the object using this text box on the top right corner. For your information, remember that on Word there is always more than one way to do things. Now that we have a shape, we can recolor it to make it look more like a basketball. Click on the shape, and under Shape Fill, you can choose any color that you desire. Also, you will see Shape Outline right under this. You can change the color of the shape's outline or remove it, but before you customize colors, you should always check to see if there are any default styles that are fitting for the picture you want to make. Here, we have a style that generally looks like a basketball. Using styles will save you lots of time in your creating of original pictures. You probably noticed that the style we chose is three-dimensional looking. You can make any shape appear three-dimensional by playing with features under Shape Effects, which is located right under Shape Outline. Here, there's a lot to choose from, but as a rule of thumb, consider that less is more. An object can easily become cluttered or unprofessional looking if it's too stylized. Notice that there's plenty of presets to choose from, although these will not always work with the shape you are trying to create. Next, you can take a look at shadow. This effect casts a shadow that makes your shape appear to hover over the document or create a hole within the plane. At the bottom, you can click on Shadow Options and you will be taken to a side pane that allows you to change the distance of the shadow, its opacity, angle, and the degree to which it blurs out the things that are under it. For us, we are going to keep it simple by placing a 2-point shadow under a 3-dimensional basketball. In this side pane, you will also see the remaining effects options. Take a look at Reflection. This is an effect that can be useful if you are depicting water or glass in your picture. Next, you can also add a glow to your object, which is different from shadowing because you can make your glow any color. Then, you can soften the edges of your object if you want to make its lines less sharp. Finally, these next two types of effects are what can be used to give a shape 3-dimensional qualities. The first one you see is 3D format. Here, you can bevel your shape in a variety of ways. Notice how there are two options, which are top bevel and bottom bevel. The top bevel will change the front of the shape, while the bottom bevel will change the back of it. Notice how right now, you can't see any changes being made to the back of the shape because this shape is not yet rotated. You can rotate your shape in the X, Y, and Z directions by typing in figures into the boxes under 3D rotation. Again, there are several presets to choose from, which will simplify your work. I'll choose this one to make our basketball appear 3-dimensional and floating. You'll notice that the ball is still somewhat flat. Now that you can see each side of the ball, you can change the depth of its beveling and add a bottom bevel. Notice how you can change the height and width of your beveling with these text boxes. You will have to change these features in order to make your circle look like a ball. You can also change the color of the depth and the color of the contours of the shape, though we will keep these orange. Now our figure looks much more like a basketball than when we started, although it is still missing some details. It looks like we need to add some extra shapes to it. I'm going to use the smooth line in order to add black lines to this basketball. In order to make this one object, I'm going to click on the ball, then press Ctrl on my keyboard in order to select all of the lines that I've created. Then I'm going to right click and go to grouping in order to group these. This group of shapes can be designed and changed as though they were one shape. Finally, now that you have a finished object, you can duplicate it as much as you want so that you have multiple basketballs in your picture. You can do this by right-clicking, clicking copy, just like you would with any other picture. You can even change some effects in your duplicates in order to make it look like you have several different basketballs instead of the same basketball twice in the same picture. I hope that by now you are as excited as I am about the versatility of Microsoft Word's drawing tools. Though I have only scratched the surface in terms of the capabilities of this program, with the information you have learned today, you should know how to use this program to create simple and original graphics for school presentations and projects with minimal effort and cost. Thank you for listening.